Hare Krishna. 𝗪𝘀 𝗦𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀 𝗪𝘀 तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Ramayana is full of drama, adventure, principles. It's a complete story. And so many people, millions and billions of people, have heard Ramayana, watched Ramayana on television, read Ramayana, and have been intrigued by the beauty of the different characters that come in this scripture. It's a great epic from the Vedic times. However, in Ramayana, there are certain episodes which make people think, how could this be considered as a perfect decision? How could this be considered as a perfect reaction? How could Lord Ramachandra be seen as an ideal personality in all the situations? Specifically, as I mentioned in the poster, when incidents like Sita's Agni Pariksha comes up, killing up of Vali comes up, brutally punishing 𝗪𝘀 comes up, or banishing Mother Sita to the forest comes up. People think, why did the Lord have to do such thing? Why be so cruel? And is he really setting a good example for the people in the society to follow? Are we also to follow such standards in life? Today and in the upcoming sessions, we are going to look at these episodes and try to understand how and why did Lord Ramachandra decide to do such things. We will learn about these episodes, not from our personal perspective, but from the perspective of great personalities, great sages, great devotees of the Lord, who have studied the scripture Ramayana very deeply, and who themselves are self-realized. They have perfect character, complete integrity and honesty and loyalty, and they present the matter in a particular manner. Before I go to the explanation part and tell you the story, let's look at some of the views that people have towards Sita's Agni Pariksha, the fire test. What was that? If you are not aware, we are going to tell you, don't worry. So the idea that people have towards this whole story is something like this. Let me share my screen with all of you so that you can understand better what we are trying to explain today. Just give me a second. Okay. So some of the views that people have towards Sita's Agni Pariksha is that it never happened. Now, why people say so? Let me tell you an incident, my personal experience. Once I was in Vrindavan, and I was walking on one of the streets of Vrindavan. So there was a loudspeaker program going on, and one, maybe a popular kathakar who speaks on Srimad Bhagavatam was giving a lecture to a group of people, and that was being played on a loudspeaker. That person was talking on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which has pastimes of Lord Krishna. And that person was talking about Lord Krishna's relationship with the gopis. Without any question asked, he started explaining on his own that actually Lord Krishna never ever stole the garments of the gopis. Now this is an episode which comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, that Lord Krishna stole the garments of young girls. To some people that may be a very immoral act. Now we are not going to study that episode in detail today, but I'm just giving you an example. In order to protect the divinity of the Lord, that person went on to tell, actually, this never happened. This story is just a story. Don't take it as reality. Don't be too serious about it. It never happened. Perhaps that person had good intentions to save the good image of the Lord. Then how could Lord engage in such an immoral act? So just tell people that this never happened. And in that way, you protect the dignity of the Lord. So some people sometimes think that Agni Pariksha or the fire test never actually happened. It was just added in the Ramayana to make the story more interesting. But this is the reality. That is one way of looking at it. And another way of looking at it is that Lord Ramachandra, who, though a very good person and a very nice role model for people to follow, he set up a very wrong example in the society by doing this act, that a woman has to go through such a fierce test to prove her chastity, loyalty, sanctity, purity. Some people also get angry on Lord Ramchandra. Why did he do such thing? Why did he create a tradition, a culture that women have to always prove their purity in this manner? Some even say this incident given in Ramayana has reduced the self-respect of women and their image. And some people, the feminists especially, they not only criticize Lord Ramachandra, they even criticize Mother Sita. They say that Ram was at fault. Sita was also at fault. Why? Ram was at fault because he was torturing Sita. He was being cruel to Sita. And Sita was at fault because she was a very weak and, lame woman. She was not strong-minded. She was not like the modern woman who can fight for her rights. She was too submissive. She should not have been. She should have been more strong. She should have denied. She should have told Lord Ramchandra, I'm not doing this. Whatever you may do, you can do. But I'm not going to give this test. This is how people look at it. And there may be so many more opinions. However, we are going to study this subject from the perspective of the great sages, the great saints. Why is that an important thing? Let me give an example to you. You must have heard the name of Isaac Newton, right? So what I'm trying to make, the point which I'm trying to make here is this. Right understanding and perspective is very important to know the subject properly. So we all have heard the name of Isaac Newton. He was a great scientist, a great thinker, and he's considered as the father of modern physics. So many discoveries he has done, inventions he has done. He has contributed so much to the world that is at present now, which we experience. Isaac Newton was not the first person to observe an apple to fall from a tree. There were many people before Isaac Newton who saw an apple falling from a tree. They saw an apple tree, they saw an apple hanging on the tree, they saw apple falling from the tree. But they never questioned what Newton questioned. Newton was thinking, why does the apple come down? Why not go up? And that made him study, that made him discover the law of gravity. Of course, he did not create the law of gravity that is created by the Supreme Lord, who is the creator of the universe, the world. But he discovered, he found out. Why? He found out because he looked at the whole thing from a different perspective. To understand any subject matter, let's say modern science, we need a perspective. We need a certain level of intelligence. We all use smartphones, smart gadgets. We know how to use them, but not necessarily all of understand. How are they manufactured and how do they work? Only those who have a certain caliber of intelligence understand. Likewise, when it comes to spiritual subject matter, one needs a certain caliber of spiritual intelligence to penetrate these subject matters and understand them in the right way. Most of the people, unfortunately, are not endowed with that intelligence. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to say I have that intelligence. I too don't have that intelligence. But there are people who have been in the past and also are at present and who will also be coming in the future, who are very pure in heart, very selfless. They are free from all vices. Such personalities can penetrate the pure activities of the other great personalities. Lord Ramachandra is not just a great personality, he's the Supreme Lord. And what he does is actually not easily understood by an ordinary man because his activities are great and our intelligence is small to understand them fully. But those who have great intelligence, who have great realizations, they can help us penetrate into those subject matters easily. So today what we are going to do is look at this whole incident from the perspective of two great sages. One is 𝗪𝘀 𝗦𝗁, who has composed Ramayana, the authoritative scripture about the life and activities of Lord Ramachandra. And the other book is called Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which was composed by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, which explains about the life and activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the same Supreme Lord who appeared as Ramachandra in Treta Yuga. How it happens? Now, I'm going to tell you stories, but in different parts. Later on, you have to put them together. It's like, I'll give you the pieces of a puzzle and you have to put them together and then come to the right conclusion on your own. The first episode. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared in the land of India around 550 years ago. And for major part of his life, he stayed in Jagannath Puri in Orissa. Once, while he was in Jagannath Puri, he decided to make a tour of South India, to travel to South India, visit different holy places. So while he was touring South India, he came to a place called Madurai. At present also that place exists. That place is also known as the Mathura of South India. In that place, Madurai, he came across a very learned Vedic scholar whose name was 𝗪𝘀. Ramadas means servant of Lord Rama. He was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, stout devotee of Lord Ramachandra, and he was very learned in the Vedic scriptures. That's why he had the title Vipra. Vipra means one who studies the Vedas. Veda pathati iti vipraha. One who studies the Vedas, one who knows the Vedas. So Ramadas Vipra had in-depth knowledge of Ramayana, Mahabharata, other Puranas, the Vedas. And he was a very good Vaishnava, a very good devotee. So coincidentally, Ramadas Vipra meets Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when he meets Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, looking at his physical beauty and different, features of his body, he understands this personality is not an ordinary personality. He seems to be a great saint. Why not invite him for lunch at my place tomorrow? So he approaches Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and says, my dear great master, I wish to serve you some prasadam. Please accept my invitation. Come to my home tomorrow. Purify my place of residence and give me this opportunity to serve you some prasadam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understands that he's a very good Vaishnava. And because he has a sincere desire to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he agrees to the request. He says, okay, so we'll make it a deal. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. noon, I come to your place to honor Bhagavad Prasad, Krishna Prasad. Very happy, Ramdas Vipra returns to his place. Next day, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he promised, reaches the residence of Ramadas Vipra, he sees that Ramadas is sitting there quiet. He is lost somewhere, lost in some thoughts. The ingredients of cooking are kept there, all around, they're scattered. But the stove is not lit yet, the fire is not burning. It seems that the cooking has not yet started. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he questions Ramadas Vipra, You see, yesterday you invited me for lunch and I gave you the time 12 o'clock. I am here, but it seems you are not cooking. You have not started yet. Are you still sure that you want to feed me some prasad? Or have you changed your mind? What's happening? And Ramadasvipra told Lord Chaitanya, my dear saint, please try to understand. Mother Sita, Lord Ramachandra, and Lakshman, they are in the forest now. You all know that Lord Ramachandra had to go to forest because of his promise to his father Dashrath, and Mother Sita accompanied, Lakshman accompanied. So these three personalities are in the forest. In forest, you don't get food stuff to eat so easily. Only when Lakshman goes out and collects roots, vegetable, fruits, and brings them back, can Mother Sita do some cooking. So now Lakshman has gone out. He's not back yet. Until unless he comes back, how is Mother Sita going to cook? So we should wait. Now when Lord Chaitanya heard this, he was shocked. He was surprised. But actually it was a pleasant surprise because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood this person is not an ordinary devotee. He's a very special devotee. It seems that while this devotee thinks of the different pastimes from Ramayana, he becomes so absorbed in them, he becomes so lost in them that he enters them. He becomes a part of them. Now, this is a science of meditation that some people, because of their very strong and deep meditation, are able to enter into realms of spiritual experience. Of activities related to the Supreme Lord. There are many instances available in the Vedic scriptures that this has happened to people. So Ramadasvipra, while he would meditate on the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, he would enter into them so deeply that he would start feeling them, experiencing them. So at present, he was actually going through that particular episode in Ramayana when these three personalities, Lord Ramchandra, Mother Sita, and Lakshmana, are in the forest. And they are preparing for their lunch. So he tells Lord Chaitanya, please wait. After some time, he starts cooking. So he says, now Lakshman has come, now we can prepare. So by the time he finishes the cooking, it's almost 3 o'clock. Lord Chaitanya waited for 3 hours. And after that, Ramadasvipra serves the prasadam to Lord Chaitanya. After Lord Chaitanya has taken the lunch, because it was cooked with such pure devotion and love, Lord Chaitanya relishes it so much. He loves it. He finds it so delicious. He finds it so nourishing, so fulfilling, so much satisfying to the heart. And he praises the food so much. He is very happy. After everything is done, then he looks at Ramadas and finds that Ramadas is pretty sad. His face is sunk. He's looking down. He's quite dejected. And Lord Chaitanya said, hey, come on, Ramadas, what happened? You invited me to come to your home. I came. You cooked the food. You fed me. I ate. I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. And you're not happy. You're not smiling. Why are you sad? And why are you not honoring the remnants? You should also take some prasad now. You also must not have eaten anything. And Ramadas became very sad. He said, how can I eat? Lord Chaitanya said, why? What happened? So then Ramadas said one statement. Let me share that with you now. What did he say? What statement did he make? So Ramadasvipra, he made the statement, it's given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, text 188. Ramadasvipra says, Jaganmata Mahalakshmi Sita Thakurani Rakshase Sparshila Tanre Iha Kane Shuni. He says, my dear sir, Mother Sita is the mother of the universe and the supreme goddess of fortune. She has been touched by the demon Ravana, and I am troubled upon hearing this news. When Lord Chaitanya heard this statement, he said, oh my God, not again. This fellow has again entered into another episode from Ramayana. He's gone there back. Now how to bring him out of that? So now Ramdas was thinking that how is it that I can be happy because the person for whom I exist, that person is in trouble. Mother Sita is being kidnapped by Ravana and being taken away by Ravana, and she is put in captive by Ravana. How did that happen? That devil, that demon, he could violate the purity of Mother Sita. He was concerned about it. He was thinking like that. He was pained, and that made him not eat. How can you eat if you are unhappy, sad, dejected? So Lord Chaitanya thought, I need to help this devotee. He's such a nice devotee, and he's in pain, he's sad. So Lord Chaitanya said to Ramadas, Ramadas, you think that Ravana could actually defile Mother Sita's purity? Do you think so? Are you sure? You are such a learned scholar of the Vedas. You are a Pandit. Is this your intelligence telling you? Are you sure that this is your conclusion of the knowledge you have of the Vedas? How can a demon even touch Mother Sita? What to speak of touching? A demon cannot even look at Mother Sita. So the verse which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says is something like this. He says, it's text 191. 𝗪𝗀𝗵𝗁 Sita chit ananda murti prakrita indriyera tande dekhite nahi shakti. Sita Devi, the dearmost wife of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra, certainly has a spiritual form full of bliss. No one can see her with material eyes, for no materialist has such power. So he's saying, what to speak of touching or kidnapping Mother Sita? A demon like Ravana cannot even see her. Now here it becomes a bit controversial. We all know that Ravana kidnapped Sita. So if he kidnapped, he must have touched Sita. But here Lord Chaitanya is saying, what to speak of kidnapping? Ravana cannot even see Sita. So what is the mystery? Why is he saying so? We'll not tell you that now. Now we go to the next episode, to another part of the story from Ramayana. We'll come back to this later. So in Ramayana, it's mentioned that once when Ravan was ruling over his kingdom of Lanka, he got a headache, a very severe headache. You know why? It's not easy to manage people. And Ravan had to not manage ordinary people. He had to manage demons, which are mischief mongers, troublemakers. So he was having one day a big headache. I am fed up of taking care of these demons. They are such nonsense. I want a break. So thinking like that, he mounted his Pushpak Viman and he started flying towards the Himalayas. When he came across one of the top peaks of the Himalayas, he saw that on one of those peaks, there was some bright effulgence coming from there. He looked carefully in that direction and he found that one very, very, very angelic, beautiful lady, young girl, was sitting on top of one of the Himalayan peaks and was doing meditation. She was performing austerity. See, she was shining brilliantly because of her spiritual prowess. If someone performs austerity, then that person becomes spiritually very effulgent. And she was so beautiful. She was dressed in pure white robes. Ravana immediately became attracted towards her. And he was thinking, I have never seen any woman in this universe who is so beautiful as this girl. And since I am the most handsome man in this universe, she deserves to be my wife and I deserve to be her husband. So immediately Ravana, because of his lustful attraction towards that girl, he took his plane near to the peak and then he addressed the lady. He said, "Oh, beautiful woman, what are you doing here? You are all alone, you're all by yourself. What's your purpose? Why are you performing such severe austerity? Look, because of such austerity, you are losing your beauty. You are so beautiful. And a beautiful and handsome young man like me should be enjoying your beauty. So please stop doing this austerity and come, join me, become my wife. But first of all, let me know, why are you taking such trouble? What do you want? So that girl, whose name was 𝗍𝗵𝗫, let me tell you something about her background. She was the daughter of a sage called 𝗪𝘀, who was the son of 𝗪спતિ, the guru of the demigods. So 𝗍𝗵𝗫 was born of 𝗪𝘀 because of his severe austerities. And since he had deep knowledge of the Vedas, he wanted to give all that knowledge to his daughter. And also he thought that because of his study of the Vedas, he got the daughter, so he named as 𝗍𝗵𝗫. Sometime when later, he decided that I want to hand over my daughter to Lord Vishnu. She should become Vishnu's wife because there is no one in this world who is qualified to be her husband other than Vishnu. 𝗍𝗵𝗫 came to know about this desire of her father. And she also then started desiring like that if I become wife of someone, then has to be Lord Vishnu. Unfortunately, her father died one day, and she was left alone. So she was thinking, now my father is gone. It's generally the parents who arrange for the daughter's marriage. So who will hand over my hand to Lord Vishnu? How will I become his wife? I can do only one thing now. I can perform austerity to please Lord Vishnu. So let me offer every single breath of mine in the fire of sacrifice in order to attain Lord Vishnu as my husband. That's the goal of my life. So she narrated this whole thing to Ravana. That's the reason why I'm here doing austerity. And Ravana said, Vishnu? I mean, for that chief fellow, you are doing such austerity? Come on, I am much better than Vishnu. Vishnu, because of fear of me, he's hiding everywhere. He's not to be seen. So why you want to become his wife? Be my wife. 𝗍𝗵𝗫, when she heard that, she became furious. It's the nature of the devotees of the Supreme Lord that when they hear about criticism of Lord or Lord's devotees, they become furious. They become really, really angry. 𝗍𝗵𝗫 loved Lord Vishnu, and Ravana was here trying to criticize Lord Vishnu. So 𝗍𝗵𝗫, in anger, said, Hey Ravana, I know who you are. I know who you are. I know what's your character. You are nothing in front of Lord Vishnu. If Lord Vishnu's broom, she speaks in a very ironical way. She says, if Lord Vishnu's broom starts moving around, then that broom is sufficient enough to put you in the trash can of hell. Lord Vishnu has got to do nothing with you. His broom can manage the whole show. So go away from here. Don't waste your time. If you do anything to me, I can burn you down to ashes. So go away from here. And Ravana, when he heard that, he became very angry because no one had ever told this to him. He wanted to show 𝗍𝗵𝗫 his power, his physical prowess. So he tried to go near her and grabbed hold of her hairs to pull her onto the chariot and fly away with her. As soon as he touched the hairs of 𝗍𝗵𝗫, something happened. He didn't realize what, but he was thrown to a far distance and he fell with a thud. And he could not understand what happened. Who did what? Later he realized that the hairs that he had touched were all in his hands, and 𝗍𝗵𝗫 was sitting there wherever she was in a very peaceful manner. She did not even budge an inch. 𝗍𝗵𝗫, because she had assimilated a lot of yogic powers by her yogic siddhi, when Ravana touched her hair with her hand, she cut the hair. And that gave such a big shock to Ravana because of her prowess that he went far away from there and fell down. So 𝗍𝗵𝗫 told Ravana, you see Ravana, if I want, I can burn you down right away because of the powers that I have, but I won't do that. That's not my job. That's not my dharma. And because you have defiled my purity, my sanctity, this body which I have, this is to be offered to Lord Vishnu. And you are a demon. You have touched this body, because of which my body has become impure, contaminated. I cannot offer it to Lord Vishnu. So I'll give up this body. I'll leave this body now. But let me tell you one thing. In future, I'll be the cause of your destruction and the destruction of your dynasty. So speaking like that, 𝗪𝘀, out of her yogic powers, she ignited a fire within her body. Now we all know our body is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So the fire element is present in everyone's body. Yogis, they have these powers that by which they can adjust the proportion of these elements. So 𝗪𝘀, she increased the amount of fire element in her body, and that fire element from inside started burning her body. In that way, her body turned into ashes and she disappeared from there. Ravana was getting one shock after another. He saw something strange, that a woman cursed him, and a woman then destroyed her own body, and she left from there. Having this bad experience, he came back to his palace. Perhaps he forgot the incident. After many years, and what happens? He kidnaps Sita, takes Sita to Lanka and keeps her as the captive. Lord Ramchandra attacks Ravan's kingdom with the monkey army and he kills Ravana. Ravana is dead. So many demons are dead. Lord Ramchandra has become victorious. So Lord Ramchandra now tells Hanuman, Hanuman, go there to 𝗪𝘀 and tell Sita this good news that Ravana is killed. Hanumanji, he goes to 𝗪𝘀. This is his second meeting with Mother Sita. So when Hanumanji comes there, Sita is looking at him with great anticipation. What's the news? What are you going to tell me now? Has that happened? What I want, what I desire the most? So Hanumanji, with a smile on his face, he says, Mother Sita, your husband, beloved Lord Ramchandra, has proven his word. He came to Lanka, he had a battle with Ravana, he killed Ravana. Now you are free to go back to your beloved Lord Ramchandra. When Hanuman said so, Mother Sita was so happy. So happy, so happy. She told Hanumanji, oh Hanuman, you have given me such a good news that even if I give the wealth of the whole world to you, I'll not be satisfied. I cannot repay you back for the happiness that you have brought me by giving me this good news. Hanumanji said, Mother Sita, I did not do this for wealth of this world. I did this service just to please you and please you, my Lord and Master, Ramachandra. So now you can be ready to meet soon with the Lord. And Mother Sita said, yes, I am very ready. I cannot wait for even one more moment to be back with my Lord. When Hanuman was then deciding to go back to Lord Ramchandra and tell that he has informed Mother Sita, he asked Mother Sita, Mother Sita, can I do another seva for you? And Mother Sita said, what? He said, all these demonesses, they must have really given you a hard time, tortured you, and you must have been caused a lot of pain by them. If you allow me, I can right away kill all of them. That will be a good punishment for them. And Mother Sita said, no, Hanuman, don't do that. They are very innocent. Actually, they are not bad. They took good care of me. And even if they give me any trouble, I know they did it out of fear of Ravana. They were his servants, and whatever the master says, the servant has to do. So it was not their fault. They are not bad. So out of some circumstance, they had to be bad towards me. So please forgive them. And after all, it's my own karma that I had to suffer like this. It's not their fault. So leave them alone. And Hanumanji said, so be it, no problem. Now please give me your permission so that I can go back. And Mother Sita said, yes, please go back and please know Lord Ramchandra that I am very eager to reach. I don't want to waste any moment. Hanumanji comes back. Meanwhile, Lord Ramchandra is thinking. Now this is where we have to understand the whole episode very nicely. Lord Ramachandra is thinking that what will happen after this whole episode? What will people say? Those who have not directly witnessed this entire account, they may assume things, they may spread rumors, wrong rumors. So how to clear all the doubts that may exist in the minds of people? He was thinking like that. Because you see, Lord Ramchandra is not an ordinary person. We all know he's the Supreme Lord, but also he's the king. And he has millions of people under him whom he rules. So he was thinking how to bring a climax to this whole episode in a way that any kind of doubt in the mind of any person should go away. There should not be any doubt in the mind of any person. He wanted to make sure that happens. So he was thinking, people may think, I am a hen-pecked husband. I am lusty. And out of my lust, I waged a war against another person because that person kidnapped my wife. Because of my lust, I killed so many other demons who were probably not so bad. And because of my lust, so many soldiers from my side got killed. So just for one woman, if I took this decision of waging a war or a battle, this may seem to be really, really unreasonable. And actually it is so. It is very much unreasonable. So Lord Ramchandra had to prove a point that if in future, let's say, a man loses his woman, and just because he is attached to that woman, should he take such a drastic decision that will affect the well-being of so many people just for one lady? Should he do something like that? So he wanted to make a point that I did not fight this battle just because I wanted to protect Sita and get her back. I did this battle for many other reasons. And we know Lord Ramchandra, he killed Ravana not just because Ravana kidnapped Sita. That's what Lord Ramchandra had actually come to this world for. That's what the demigods had prayed to the Lord Ramchandra to descend to this world, that Ravana is causing serious headache to all of us. Please make sure he dies. Please kill him. So Sita being kidnapped was just a part of the whole plan for a bigger plan. So Lord Ramchandra killing Ravana, killing the demons, had so many reasons. And he wanted to make sure that people get that point. People of that time, people who are going to come in the future. So he was thinking, how can we make a climax to this whole episode in a way that this thing gets proved? First, I did not do such an act because of lust for one woman, for one lady. I did not take such a drastic decision, And also, he wanted to prove to the world about the purity of Mother Sita. When you love someone, then for you, it's very, very important how people look at that person whom you love. What is the image of that person in the eyes of other people? You want to make sure that that is a good image. So Lord Ramchandra not only wanted to protect people from offending him and criticizing him and blaspheming him, but he also wanted to protect Mother Sita from people's criticism. We hear from Bhagavad Gita that it's a human tendency that even when the Supreme Lord comes to this world, because of our limited intelligence and conditionings, we try to find faults in the activities of the Supreme Lord. Avajananti ma mulaha manushintanamashaha param bhava majanantu mama bhuta maheshwara. Lord Krishna says in chapter 9, verse number 11. So the Lord has to always devise plans and strategies how his acts, his decisions should not leave behind, doubts in people's mind so that they start blaspheming him, criticizing him. However, though the Lord tries his best, people still have hundreds of reasons to find faults in the Supreme Lord. So here the Lord is thinking, what should I do? What should be my strategy that my image remains intact, Sita's image remains intact, and people are able to understand this whole thing properly. So at that time, Lord Ramchandra tells Vibhishana that Vibhishana, now you go to Sita and you tell Sita that she can come here. We all are waiting for her. But she should come dressed in royal garments. She should wear nice jewelry. And in that way, she should come. And when Lord Ramchandra said that, people were thinking, what has happened to him? I mean, Sita has been waiting to meet him since 1 year. And how does it matter whether she comes in her present attire or she comes dressed like a queen? Why is Lord Ram behaving like this and talking like this? And they could also see that suddenly the attitude with which Lord Ramchandra spoke these words changed. Before this, Lord Ramchandra was so concerned about Sita's welfare, he was so concerned. But now it seems that his tone has become a bit more strict and stern. They were not able to understand why is he behaving like this. He never behaved like that before when it came to talk about Sita, discuss about Sita. So why now? So Lakshmana was thinking, why is Lord Ramchandra asking me to do this? And then, his thoughts went to the past and he recalled that when he was with Ravana, he had given a suggestion and advice to Ravana that Ravana, you see, now also it's not so late. You have done a big blunder by kidnapping Sita. And this act of yours is not only going to bring damage to you, but to our entire race. So my advice is, it's a good advice, you return Sita to Lord Ramchandra. And don't return Sita as a captive. You return Sita as a queen. So you make sure Sita is dressed nicely, she has all the good ornaments, and in that way, as an offering, as a gift, you give her back to Lord Ramchandra. So Vibhishan recalled that Lord Ramchandra is just trying to make my words come true because I wanted that to happen. He is now asking me because now Vibhishan is the king of Ravana, king of Lanka. So Lord Ramchandra is telling Vibhishan, not you, but your king, the previous king, took away Sita. Now you are the king of Lanka, so you should give Sita back to me. And you give Sita back to me with complete honor and respect to her. Not that she was a captive and you are returning your captive to me. You have to return her to me as a gift. So she should be dressed well with proper ornaments, and in that way she should be brought here with complete respect. So Vibhishan goes there and he tells Mother Sita, and Mother Sita, this is the request of Lord Ramchandra. In fact, this is his order, that you go to meet him, but before that, you should take bath, dress nicely, wear royal garments, put jewelry on yourself, and then you go. And when Mother Sita heard that, she became furious. What the hell is going on? I cannot wait even for a moment to meet my husband, my Prabhu. And why do I have to do all this? Vibhishana says, oh my dear mother, you know Lord Ramchandra more than me. He is the Supreme Lord. If he is thinking of doing anything, there must be some reason behind that. So please follow what he is saying. And it won't take you much time. And Mother Sita was thinking, anyway, I have to meet my Lord. I waited for 1 year. So why not for some more time? Let me do what he's saying. Let me dress myself nicely. So she took some time, dressed well, and then sitting in a palki, carried by 4 men, she came there. When she reached that place, Lord Ramchandra is there, Lakshman is there, Hanumanji is there, Vibhishan is there. The entire army of Lord Ramchandra is there. Thousands and millions of soldiers, monkeys, bears. At that time, Lord Ramachandra, without looking at Sita, he made a comment. And this comment, it went like thunderbolt into the hearts of Hanuman, Vibhishan, Lakshman, Mother Sita. They could not understand why is Lord Ramchandra saying like this. Lord Ramchandra said, the purity of a woman is not decided by her clothes, by her veil, by her being in a palki, or by her being surrounded by the walls of a room. The purity of a woman is known by her character. If the character is good, she's pure. If the character is not good, who knows if she's pure? And when everyone heard this, they were thinking, is he the same Lord? Or is he someone different? Why is he speaking such strong and harsh words? Why is he being sarcastic? And Sita was also thinking. So at that time, Mother Sita asked Lord Ramchandra, my dear Prabhu, what do you want me to do? So Lord Ramchandra said, why are you here in a palki? You should come down from the palki. So many people have sacrificed their lives to get you back. So many monkeys. So why not give them your darshan? Why are you hiding your face? They all want to see who is that lady for whom we have taken so much of trouble. We have sacrificed so much. They want to look at you. So give them your darshan. Let them see you. Let them see that woman for whom so many people have suffered. So when Mother Sita heard this, she was not able to digest. She did not expect such strong remarks, such piercing statements from the person whom she loves the most. She was expecting words of sympathy, compassion, comforting words, but she got something else. These words were like arrows piercing her chest. So she came down from the palki. And then Lord Ramchandra then continued to say, he said, you should know that I did not come here to protect you and get you back because you are my wife. I just did so because I am the king of Ayodhya and you are the queen of Ayodhya. I did as the duty of a king, not because I'm your husband. And now I have protected you. I have made you free from the captive of Ravana. Now you decide what you want to do. You want to go anywhere, you can go there. You're free, you can make the decision. And when Mother Sita heard that, she was into tears. She was shocked. She was thinking, is my Prabhu, Lord Ramchandra, questioning my purity, my chastity, my loyalty? So she asked Lord Ramchandra, why are you talking like this? And Lord Ramchandra said, well, who knows about the purity of a woman who has stayed in the house of another man for 1 year? Who knows? Ravana touched you. Ravana kidnapped you. Ravana took you away. So who knows? We did not see anything. So who knows about your purity? What will I tell people if they question about your purity? So Mother Sita said, are you questioning my purity? Do you doubt my purity? Should I live for 1 more second? Should I live after hearing these words from you? I think I should not. How can I live? And then Mother Sita was crying. Lakshman was also crying. Hanumanji was also crying. Vibhishan was crying. And actually, Lord Ramchandra was also crying. But he kept his face down so that people could not see his tears. Lord Ramchandra was making all these statements, keeping a huge stone on his own heart. He did not want to say these things because for him, Mother Sita was most dear to him. But he wanted to make a point to the people of this world. He wanted to prove something, and that's why he had to be strong. If he would not have been strong at that time, he would not have been successful to do what he wanted to do. So he had to take a different role for some period of time. So at that time, Mother Sita said, what do you want me to do? And Lord Ramchandra was thinking, what can be done? What can be done to prove that Sita is pure? He knows that Sita is pure. He knows Ravana cannot touch Sita. Ravana cannot do anything to Sita. But then the ordinary people, they don't know that. So Lord Ramchandra, he devised a plan. Now let me tell you something, that, when we don't know these things, we misjudge the activities of Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra knew something. And what is that? Let us discuss this. When Hanumanji had made the first visit to Lanka, you all know, Ravana, he put fire to the tail of Hanumanji, thinking that this will give great pain to this monkey, and that will be a good punishment for him. But at that time, as soon as Ravana lit the tail of Hanumanji, this news had reached Mother Sita, that this is how Ravana torturing that monkey. So Mother Sita at that time made a prayer. She said to Agni Dev, that Agni Dev, if you think that I'm pure, I never ever thought of any man other than my husband, Lord Ramchandra. If I am that pure, I am that chaste, I am that loyal, then I request you, Agni Dev, the fire demigod, let this fire, which is on the tail of Hanuman, not burn Hanuman. Let this fire not be felt as fire by him. Let this fire give him cooling sensation. Agni Dev had to listen to this request of Mother Sita, because there cannot be anyone more pure than her. So Agni Dev, he agreed to this request, and Hanumanji did not feel any pain from that fire. Lord Ramchandra knew this. He knows everything, so he knew this. So he thought, let me put Sita to a test, which Sita will definitely pass. Nothing will happen to her, but which an ordinary woman cannot pass. So when Sita passes that test, then no person in this world will ever doubt the purity of Mother Sita. Lord Ramchandra was here thinking in this way because he knew in the minds of many people who were present there, in the minds of even some of the monkeys who were present there, it was going on. Is Sita really pure? Did we really make a good decision to come to this battle, fight in this battle, and almost lose our lives for this woman? Are you sure that this woman is pure? So Lord Ramchandra wanted to clear up all those doubts. So then he said, you can prove your purity. You can prove your purity. So why not do a test, a fire test? Prove your purity by entering into fire. If you are pure, the fire will not burn you. And then at that time, Lakshmana was looking at Ramchandra, was thinking, my dear brother, what are you saying? What are you doing? I mean, what has happened to you? Are you the same person? I remember those days when Sita was kidnapped. It was you who were running behind the birds, behind the deers, behind the animals. You were running towards the trees and you were crying to them, oh my dear tree, oh my dear deer, oh my dear birds, oh my dear river, please tell me, where is Sita? Where can I find Sita? Every day you have shed tears in separation of Sita. Every day. Until now, anytime you spoke about Sita, you spoke of her purity, of her chastity, of her great qualities. We never heard a negative remark from you about Sita. We never heard from you that you ever doubted her purity. And now, here in front of everyone, you are making such a big scene. What has happened to you? Lakshman was helpless because he knows his brother cannot be wrong, but he's not able to understand what is he trying to do, what is his plan. And Mother Sita was also crying because she was thinking, she was talking in his mind, my dear Prabhu, you never spoke such harsh words to me, even in a private room. And here in front of everyone, when the whole world is watching, you are talking like this? You are speaking like this? What is that wrong thing that have I done? At that time, Mother Sita, out of her pain and anguish, she said to Lakshman, Lakshman, I want to die now. You please lit fire here. I will enter that fire. I'll leave my body. I don't want to exist anymore. And Lakshman did not expect this. He didn't want this kind of ending to the whole episode. I mean, the fight the war, they kill Ravana, and they come to this point to save Mother Sita, get her back. They all go back to Ayodhya and live together as a happy family. And here Mother Sita is going to die. She's going to put an end to her life. So Lakshmana was looking at Ram. What do you want? And Lord Ramchandra, he just nodded his head. Do as she says. That's what I want. And that time, Brahmaji, Shivji, all the demigods were watching from above. What's happening? We did not expect this climax to this whole story. So Brahmaji came down and in an invisible way, he spoke to Lord Ramchandra. My dear Prabhu, why are you doing this? We all know Sita is pure. And I'm sure you also know Sita is pure. So this is not a part of the plan. This is not the story. Why this twist and turn? And Lord Ramchandra told Brahma, you see Brahma, I know who am I. I am the Supreme Lord. And I know who Sita is. She is my eternal consort. And I know Ravana cannot defile her purity. But this is a part of my plan. Just wait and watch what's going to happen. Don't worry. I am in my full control. I am in sense. I know what am I doing. So Brahma then folded his hands. Okay, my dear Lord, it's very difficult to understand what your plans are and what are you trying to do. Very, very difficult to understand. And he left from there. So at that time, now you see, please try to understand that Mother Sita said, I want to die. Lakshman, please lit the fire. I want to enter the fire and give up my body. At that time when the fire was lit, Mother Sita, she made a prayer to Agni Dev. She said, Agni Dev, you know, I have never ever thought of any man other than Lord Ramchandra. From my body, with my words, with my mind, with my intellect, I have only worshipped this person. So if ever I have in any way, even in my dreams, thought of any other man, let this fire burn me. If not, let this fire not even touch me. Now, why did Mother Sita make that prayer? She already said, I want to die. Because Mother Sita understood what was the plan of Lord Ramchandra. She understood here there is another scene in the entire drama. And Lord Ramchandra wants this scene to happen in this way. He's the supreme director. So I just have to cooperate with his plan. She knew fire will not burn her. She knew it very well. So she then circumambulates that fire. She circumambulates Lord Ramachandra, and then she enters into that fire. When she enters into that fire, all the monkeys shout, and Lakshmana is crying, Hanumanji is crying, oh no, Mother Sita, she's gone. She's no more to exist. And they were thinking like that, they were in pain at that time. After some time, Agni Dev, he came out of that fire and brought Sita with him. And he is now playing a part in the drama. He knows Lord Ramchandra has a plan. So then he makes an announcement there. My dear Lord Ramachandra, I, Agni Dev, I here claim that your wife, Sita, is totally pure. I am the witness to her purity, her sanctity, her chastity. So because she is pure, I cannot burn her. So you please take Sita back. I here declare in front of everyone, all the demigods, in front of you and all the living entities, that there is no one as pure as Sita in this universe. So when Agni Dev said that, all the monkeys, they started jumping and shouting and celebrating that, yes, Mother Sita is the most pure woman in this universe. All their doubts were resolved. And this is what Lord Ramchandra wanted. He wanted such a happy ending to the whole thing. He wanted no doubts to remain that is Sita pure or not. So after this whole, thing happened, there was a smile on the face of Lord Ramchandra because his plan was successful. This is what he wanted, and this is what happened. Then Mother Sita's purity was proven in front of everyone. So then they all boarded the plane, Pushpa Viman, and went back to Ayodhya. to rule over the kingdom of Ayodhya happily, with people having complete respect for Lord Ramchandra and also complete respect towards Mother Sita's purity. Here now we take the lessons. The story ends, the lessons. And again, I'll tell you some more hidden mystery behind it. And then finally, what the ordinary people should take away from this episode. So when Lord Ramachandra comes to this world, or any avatar comes to this world, they teach, to the people of this world in different ways. Let's just quickly look at what we discussed. We discussed the episode between Lord Chaitanya and Ramadas Vipra. Then we looked at the episode of 𝗵𝗺 and Ravana. Then the conversation of Sita and Hanuman. Lord Ramchandra thinking, sends Vibhishana, and then Sita's Agni Pariksha. So there are 3 levels of lessons which are there in the divine pastimes of Lord Ramachandra or any supreme Lord or avatar. First is personal, second is social, and third is divine. So here Lord Ramchandra is trying to teach a lesson to people of this world that not just because of lust or because of attraction towards a woman or man, sexual attraction, should one take such decisions. No, not that, okay, someone kidnaps someone's wife and then for that you wage a war against the entire kingdom. No, that's unreasonable. That is foolishness. So here Lord Ramchandra is saying, not just because, Sita is my wife and Ravana kidnapped Sita, because of that we had to kill millions of people. No, he's making a point that I'm not doing it for a personal reason. I am doing it for a greater cause. I am the king of a dynasty, which was the greatest ruling dynasty of that time for the whole planet Earth. And she is the queen. So out of that royal duty, I had to do this, out of that royal duty. So that was the first thing. Second thing is Lord Ramchandra trying to teach to people the law of karma. Now, Mother Sita, we may think, why had Mother Sita to hear such strong words and harsh statements from Lord Ramchandra, questioning her purity? This is very, very painful. If you are pure and someone then doubts your purity, then it really hurts you badly. So why had Mother Sita gone through such ordeals? Why she had to hear such words? So there is a teaching from karma point of view. You know this thing perhaps, that when Lord Ramchandra was chasing the golden deer, because what Mother Sita wanted to have that deer, at that time Lord Ramchandra had left Lakshman behind to protect Sita. That deer was actually an illusion. It was a demon in the form of a deer. So that deer started calling out, Lakshman, Sita, Lakshman, Sita. And Sita thought, Lord Ramchandra is in some trouble. So she told Lakshman, Lakshman, you please go, you help your brother, he's in trouble. You see, he's shouting, screaming, go. And Lakshman said, Mother, what do you think who Lord Ram is? How can anyone do anything to him? This is that demon's trick. Some demon is doing something. And Mother Sita said, Lakshman, now I know why you came to the forest. You did not come to the forest to actually serve us, to be with Lord Ram. You came to the forest because you wanted an opportunity to enjoy me. You are very happy that Rama is in trouble now, because if something happens to Ram, then you can enjoy me. You can enjoy my body. I did not know that you have such a low character, such a low thinking. And when Mother Sita said this, of course, she did not say this with some kind of hatred or ill feeling, but because of her concern for Lord Ramchandra, these words came out of her mouth. And these words were so piercing to the heart of Lakshman, because for Lakshman, Sita was like his mother. He had never seen Sita beyond her feet. The only thing that he ever saw was Sita's feet, nothing above that. And here Mother Sita was telling him that he wanted to have such kind of relationship with her. So he felt so bad. He was totally devastated at that time. And then he told Mother Sita that now I cannot tolerate anymore. So I have to leave this place. You are asking me to go, I will go. So because Mother Sita said something like that to Lakshman, here it is being taught to us, whoever you are, even if you are a very pure person, even if you are a great devotee, but in case you make statements to people which hurt them, which offend them, then we will be punished. We will get that back. It will come as a reaction to us. So through this whole episode, this is another lesson that is being given to us, that if we act in a particular way towards anyone, especially towards devotees of Krishna or Lord Ramachandra, Vaishnavas, then that reaction comes to us, because Mother Sita spoke such harsh statements to Lakshman, doubting his character, his integrity. Here, her integrity, her character was doubted. That's the second thing. And the third thing, the divine, which is very essential. You see, in Ramayana, though Lord Ramachandra is acting as a human and Mother Sita is acting as a human, we know they are not humans. But they try to act like a human so that they can teach us how humans should be. However, at the same time, they also act in ways which prove their divinity, that they are not ordinary. Like, to give an example of Lord Krishna here, Lord Krishna could have done many things in simpler ways, but he did it in those ways which would prove that he is the Supreme Lord. Lifting up Govardhan hill, killing Putna, such activities he could have done in a different way also, swallowing the entire forest fire. So here Lord Ramchandra is proving a point that no woman can pass the fire test. Because Sita is the consort of the Supreme Lord, she is so pure. That's why she can pass such a test. So it would be a big mistake if people think, because Mother Sita went through such a test, every ordinary woman, when she has to prove her purity, sanctity, chastity, she should also go through such a test. That kind of inference or logical conclusion would be a big mistake on human beings' part, to think that an ordinary person can do what the Supreme Lord and his consort can do. Just like an ordinary man cannot make a bridge over the ocean and kill an entire dynasty to get the wife back, or an ordinary woman, similarly, an ordinary woman cannot give a test like the fire test, Agni Pariksha, to prove her chastity. The principle is, yes, a woman should be chaste to her husband, and a man should try to protect his wife in all situations. But that doesn't mean they have to go to such an extent as Lord Ramchandra did or Mother Sita did. They cannot. It's not possible. So in order to prove that they are the supreme and no one can imitate them, they do things in a very, very extraordinary manner, in an extreme manner, to prove that they are supreme. They cannot be copied, imitated. No, never. So that's why here, if people say that Lord Ramchandra said such a tradition, Lord Ramchandra did not say such a tradition. Lord Ramchandra did not say every woman who come in the future will have to go through such tests to prove their purity. Never, ever. If people have drawn such lessons or conclusions, that's their fault. That's their fault. That's their limited thinking and limited understanding. So here, the hidden mystery behind this is now, which is very interesting. Lord Chaitanya and Ramadas, we come back to that part. Lord Chaitanya was thinking, how can I help this good devotee of Lord Ramchandra? He's so nice. So after he left that town of Madurai, he came to a different place where he came across Kurma Purana, another scripture. And in that, while someone was reciting Kurma Purana, he heard one verse which said that actually Ravana never kidnapped Sita. So whom did Ravana kidnap? So that verse goes like this. Let me share that with you. It's a very interesting verse. And later on, you can actually read in detail this Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 9. Text 203. Maya Sita Ravana Nila Shunila Akhyane Shuni Mahaprabhu Hoila Anandita Mane. Upon hearing from the Kurma Puran how Ravana had kidnapped a false form of Mother Sita, Maya Sita, an illusory form, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very satisfied. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately took those verses from Kurma Purana and came back to Madurai, and then he told Ramadas Vipra, look Ramadas, this is the evidence that Mother Sita was never kidnapped by Ravana. It was Maya Sita who was taken by Ravana, an illusory creation, not the Mother Sita. So please, please never ever become sad thinking that Mother Sita was touched by that demon. And then Ramdas was so happy. So he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can I get a copy of these verses so that I can always read them and give myself solace? So Mahaprabhu did that for Ramdas Vipra. So what happened? Who was that Maya Sita? Who was that? Now we go back to 𝗪𝘀 and Ravana episode. What did 𝗪𝘀 say? Ravana, I'll be the cause of your destruction and the cause of the destruction of your dynasty. So what happened is, when Ravana had come to kidnap Mother Sita, at that time Mother Sita knew what's the plan of Ravana. So he told Ravana, you wait, I'm going inside. And she went into the cottage. And at that time she thought, let me play a game with this fool. Actually, you know, if Sita wanted, she could have killed Ravana at that time. Just her gaze, her sight would have burned Ravana to ashes. She said, let me play a game with you. So at that time, she called upon the Agni Devata, the fire god. There was fire lit in the cottage where she was staying. And she told Agni Devata that you carry me away from here. We should know one thing now. Just like we have our, system of sending things to people through courier and stuff like that. We have our post and parcel system, carrying things around the world. Likewise, for the demigods, it's the fire god, the Agni Devata, who does this job. He's their delivery man, or the delivery boy. He acts as a messenger, as a courier person. So whatever things have to be given to the demigods, it all goes through Agni. Just like when you do sacrifice, a fire sacrifice, a homa, and you put anything in the fire pit. So that goes to the demigods through the fire. He acts as a messenger. So Agni Dev came there, and Mother Sita told Agni Dev, you take me away from you. And it's mentioned that Mother Sita was taken and put in the care of Parvati. Some places in some Ramayana versions it says Swaha, the wife of Agni Dev, took care of Sita. And at that time, when Agni Dev took away Mother Sita, the real Sita, whom he brought back and put there in the cottage, that was 𝗪𝘀, who wanted to become a cause of Ravana's destruction. So who was kidnapped by Ravana? 𝗪𝘀. Who lived in Lanka for 1 year? 𝗪𝘀. Who had to give the fire test, a fire sacrifice, the Agni Pariksha? 𝗪𝘀. So when 𝗪𝘀 entered into the fire, at that time, Agni Dev, he took 𝗪𝘀 away, and he brought whom out from the fire? He brought out original Mother Sita out from the fire. And this who knew? Only Lord Ramchandra knew, Mother Sita herself knew, and Agni Devata knew, and no one else knew. So because people did not know about it, they were all blank. Why is this happening? But then those who came to know about it, just like all of us now, for us, then there is no mystery behind this. It looks like, wow, what a perfect plan, strategy, story, amazing, beautiful. So at that time, Mother Sita, she made a request to Lord Ramchandra. She said, my dear Prabhu, in this whole game, one person suffered a lot, and that was 𝗪𝘀. She had to go through all the torture and pain. So for her service to you, what seva she has done to you and to me, I want you to reward her. She wants to have you as her husband. So please, please accept her as your wife, as your consort. And Lord Ramchandra said, Sita, you know, in this avatara, I have 3 vows. Ek patni, ek vachan, ek ban. You know this, that Lord Ramchandra, he vowed this, I will have only one wife. And then he had another vow that I will speak, whatever I speak, ek vachan, I will make sure it happens. I will never go back on my words. I'll not say two things. One thing, I'll do that for sure. And 𝗥𝗺, I'll not use two arrows ever in my life. I'll always use one arrow. That arrow will go kill the enemy and come back in my quiver, and I'll again use that same arrow. So he fought with one arrow only. So he said, I have these vows and I cannot break those vows. But I promise, in my next avatar, I will definitely have 𝗪𝘀 as my wife. So what does Lord Ramchandra do in the next later incarnation when he comes as Srinivasa, about whom we are not going to discuss today? At that time, 𝗪𝘀 also comes as Padmavati, and then Padmavati gets married to Srinivasa. 𝗪𝘀 is an incarnation of Bhudevi, an eternal consort of the Lord, and she gets married to Lord as Padmavati. The Lord's name is Srinivasa. So this is how we end the whole story. Now you can, if you have any questions, ask. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something from this episode, and you will also join us for the upcoming episodes. So any questions from anyone? You can kindly unmute yourself and ask us. Also, and let me check if there is some question in YouTube. Okay, no questions. So shall we end? Later on, you can definitely put your feedback to us on the YouTube video. I mean, it's already live, and if you want to look at it again or share it with others, please do that. And also put your comment there. How did you like the story? And I hope you don't have any doubts left about why did Lord Ramchandra do something like that. Now, the second thing, which is again very interesting, Sita's purity is proven. Why did Lord Ramchandra send her to the forest? Why again? So that's going to come, in the future sessions. So see you next week. Very nice to see you, Amrita Vilasini Mataji, 𝗪𝘀 𝗥𝗺 Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra ki